What's going on, everyone? So, the Phoenix Suns officially signed Tyus Jones earlier today for that minimum, 3.3 million for 1 year. This is a great pickup for the Phoenix Suns, right? They really needed a true playmaker and distributor. They were trying to run Devin Booker, they're trying to run Bradley Beal as that, and they can make plays, but they're not a real playmaker, right? And that was the real problem. Now, I don't think Tyus Jones makes them like insanely good now and he solves all their problems. They're still going to be terrible defensively. A lot of their just the lack of size, like there's a lot of issues that Phoenix still has that I just, again, don't really necessarily buy them as a real contender. However, I do think that this makes them, or potentially could make them, a lot more fluid offensively, which, they have enough firepower where you never know. You could end up seeing them, represented out of the Western Conference. I think Tyus Jones will also help a ton in the fourth quarter, where Phoenix was the worst fourth quarter team in the league last year, which is crazy to think about, given that you have Devin Booker, you have Kevin Durant, you have Bradley Beal. But it's because, again, you didn't have that guy that can really kind of put and slot guys in the proper position to make plays. I think Tyus Jones is going to be able to do that for them. I'm curious to see if they actually start Tyus Jones, because it's like if they do, it's so what? You're going to run Katie at the 4, Booker at the 3, Beal at the 2, and then Jones at the point with Nurk at the center. Again, offensively, you're probably great. Defensively, you're probably awful. But we'll see. Time will tell. Now, right now, Tyus Jones going to Phoenix and the Lakers missing out on Tyus Jones isn't a big deal, right? Lakers are pretty set at the point guard position. The problem is the Lakers are actively trying to pull off a trade and actively shopping D'Angelo Russell. And that really poses a problem, because if the Lakers end up trading D'Angelo Russell, now they have a real pressing need at the point guard position. Now, obviously, it depends on what ultimately ends up, kind of being the trades, or do they pull off multiple trades, or are they able to get like a serviceable point guard some way, somehow. It's questionable, where if you ended up trading D'Angelo Russell, you were able to free up enough to clear a roster spot, right? For example, Jeremy Grant. There's a lot of talks about Jeremy Grant potentially being a Laker in the near future, right? We'll see what happens. Nothing's done until it's done. We've seen plenty of trades get announced. Media's covering it, all that stuff, and then all of a sudden it falls through, something happens, and the deal doesn't get done. But if they were to do a trade for, say, Jeremy Grant, just using him as an example, and they basically swap 3 players for 1, well, now they have an open roster spot. And if you could bring Tyus Jones in at a vet minimum, that is excellent value. Phoenix got excellent value in Tyus Jones. That was a huge pickup and a huge steal at that price. Now, I'm not really sold at Tyus Jones as a starting, caliber point guard. I think he's best in the backup role. But if you were to get a Jeremy Grant or something, right, and you have enough talent around a Tyus Jones, then things are different now, right? Like, you can kind of get away with him. I think if you're a team that's heavy reliant on him kind of being one of your key players, right, I think he's fine for Phoenix in the starting unit if they were to do that, because they have enough talent around him to where he's kind of like the 5th guy, right? I think similar with the Lakers. But the problem now is if you trade D'Angelo Russell, now you're in a position where who are you getting at the point guard position, right? Who's slotting in that spot? Like, are you, again, if say you're able to get Jeremy Grant and then you're able to pull off a trade for some point guard, or, I don't want them to do this, but this is something I could definitely see the Lakers doing, and I'm sure you can too, which is slotting Austin Reeves as the point guard. You saw he, as vocally open in public, talked about how he wants more playmaking duties because he played point guard in high school and a bit in college. But the problem is we saw that last year and it was awful. He's not a guy that's capable as a playmaker. there's a difference between a playmaker and a guy that can make plays. D'Angelo Russell is a true playmaker. He develops things. He gets guys in position. He sees things develop before they happen. Right? He's able to basically read the offense to a point to where he can make decisions and make plays based on what is unfolding on the court. Austin Reaves hasn't developed that yet. He can find the open man, he can find the occasional cutter, he can run the basic, pick and roll and stuff, but you've seen he struggles with ball pressure, he gets tunnel vision at times. There's just a lot of issues. The Lakers ran Austin Reaves as the sole playmaker on numerous occasions, a lot more than they should have, and he wasn't capable of being that, right? Now, you have LeBron James in the starting unit, so you could argue you just kind of need an initiator, right? So maybe Austin Reaves can kind of be the initiator. JJ Redick wants to run a more free-flowing motion offense. So if that's the case, you could kind of just have Austin Reaves, again, initiate, get you set up into your actions, and then you're off. And then at any point when you need that kind of real playmaker, that real point guard to kind of get things kind of organized and together, you could just get the ball to LeBron and then he can kind of do that, which the Lakers did a lot last season anyway. So it's always a possibility. It might not be the end of the world, but now it's just, again, what about the games that LeBron misses, right? You're kind of in this spot where, you lost Tyus Jones. Spencer Dinwiddie would have been great in that role, right? Like you could have easily went, and Spencer Dinwiddie wanted to be, he was waiting for the Lakers. Lakers weren't able to pull anything off. And it's like, man, if you could have gotten Spencer Dinwiddie even, that would have been massive, right? Because now you're so reliant on other guys. Now you're reliant on, if you keep Gabe Vincent, can Gabe Vincent be that guy? Again, Gabe Vincent isn't really a playmaker. He is a kind of 3-and-D guard that can make plays, right? He's fine. He's fine in the initiator role, right? Like he's fine bringing the ball up, getting you set up into your offense. But if you need a guy to kind of create and get things flowing, Gabe Vincent's not that guy, right? And he's closer to, an Avery Bradley, a George Hill, like guys like that, where, they've always been really good alongside LeBron, because LeBron is a playmaker. LeBron is a guy that can make the plays, set guys up, read the defense, right? And kind of have things unfold to where you can slot a guy like a Gabe Vincent alongside him, and then him being a 3-and-D point of attack, knock down the open shot type guy is very valuable. But then, okay, let's say you move him into the starting unit. What are you doing for your backup role? Right? Like, are you going to have Austin Reaves be the backup point guard? Are you going to have, and stagger LeBron? But even when, like I said, when LeBron misses games, then what do? Are you going with like a Jalen Hood-Schifino now? Right? Is Jalen Hood-Schifino ready to take that step from basically not getting really any playing time? I mean, he played in like garbage time and stuff, but not any real significant playing time. Is he really going to make the leap from basically not playing to all of a sudden being slotted as your backup or maybe even primary playmaker? I don't know. I mean, maybe he's a guy that can take on that role, and maybe you are able to start Gabe Vincent. Maybe Gabe Vincent is able to start, and then Jalen Hood-Schifino, maybe he is ready. I don't know, but we don't really have a sample size to really judge one way or another, right? Like, he was killing it in the G League. I mean, he was dominating in the G League, but the G League is not the NBA. And is he going to be able to handle that ball pressure? Is he going to be able to handle having to kind of not only initiate the offense, but on occasion get things going and create and do the things necessary? I mean, with LeBron, and depending on the type of offense that JJ Redick wants to run, again, you may not need a real, like, kind of traditional point guard. You might not need somebody that, like Tyus Jones might not be necessary. So it might be okay. You might be able to get away with it. But it's nice to have somebody that can, when things aren't really working, things aren't really going the way that you want them to just have a guy that can just go make a play for somebody. Like, hey, just guys, let's move, let's get guys going, let the point guard make a play. Right? You saw that with like even D'Lo at times last season. Have the ball, things aren't going well, he just would make a play, particularly when LeBron was out of games. So I don't necessarily think it's the end of the world yet. One, I want to see how everything unfolds and develops. And two, again, depending on the offense, you may just need those initiators. So you may be able to get away with like Austin Reeves as just the main initiator. Again, I have concerns about him handling ball pressure when he's bringing the ball up, but maybe you can work that out. So to me, I think it depends on how they structure it. Now, based on kind of the rumors regarding Jeremy Grant, it's possible that they don't even trade D'Angelo Russell, right? If they don't trade D'Lo, one, I still think that they eventually will, but there is almost an argument to be made to keep him. That basically you're upgrading into Jeremy Grant, and you can keep D'Lo and have like D'Lo, Reeves, Grant, LeBron, and AD. Still worry about the defense in the backcourt. Still not really sold on D'Lo and Reeves starting together. I still think you bring Reeves off the bench personally, but regardless, if you do keep that, then I do think that there's an argument there. You could, let's say you get Jeremy Grant, you could at that point kind of remain patient and just kind of let things develop and unfold and then kind of get to the trade deadline and maybe try to flip D'Lo into something. That's always an option. That's always a possibility. But it really does beg the question of like, if you trade D'Lo, then what? Right? Again, it's concerning, but it's not something that I'm like, sky is falling, what are the Lakers doing type thing. We'll see, right? Again, you got to let everything kind of play out. First off, a trade has to happen. If a trade doesn't happen, then it's irrelevant, right? But if a trade does happen, one, is that it? Like, do they trade for Jeremy Grant and that's it, right? Or do they, if they do trade for Jeremy Grant and that's it, depending on what the package is that you send out, you may be fine, right? If they end up keeping D'Lo, you're good, right? So it just kind of depends in that regard of how that works. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you have concerns? Do you not? Do you think it's like, it's all right? Are you frustrated that the Lakers just keep missing out on these free agents? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.